I'm looking at the breakdown now here that you're talking about. When we look at the 12 precincts, I think there was a total cost, for one new location because there were different polling locations that you were talking about. I see the number $17,302 when you compare that to the nine precincts, which is what the town's going for here, which comes in a little under 3,800. So I'd imagine that play. I mean, obviously not a member of the town council, so I don't know the thinking process there, but that's quite the jump. I mean, how does this new setup affect you personally as a town clerk and your very limited staff? I know that was something you talked about in one of the workshops with the counselors.
Absolutely. And money was one thing. I wanted to put all the figures out there so people could see buying new tabulators, enough for 12 precincts, and having enough workers come in and work on election day, and more tables and chairs and all of those sort of things. Um, was an expense and would be an ongoing expense for every election. But the wear and tear on our office, of course, really concerned me. There are three of us here. On election day, one of us needs to stay here because the state system is a closed system. And if we need to check voter registration for people who are coming in, we need to be able to call the office and check that on our state computers. We can't take that on an iPad to the election, to the polling place. So we also knew that for our current polling place, the old high school, the middle Mitchell at the middle school, we simply do not have enough electrical outlets to support 12 tabulators in that facility. We don't have enough room to set up 12 ballot boxes, and we don't have enough electricity to run 12 tabulators on top of those ballot boxes in that facility. So we knew we would have to have at least one more facility if we could think of one that was large enough to take 5 of the precincts. We could have done that. So I ran all the calculations on that. But the thought to our office of trying to train all those new workers, swear them in so that at exactly 7 o'clock they could all start the election at various places, because we would have probably been talking about 2 or 3 other polling locations. And then to have sufficiently trained personnel there. We've always been on site. Jolie and I are always on site at the polling place. So if there's if a ballot gets stuck in a machine or there's some sort of problem, we're right there to help them troubleshoot it. We can't be in 3 or 4 places at the same time. Even if there's 2 of us, we still can't be in 3 or 4 places. So just those kind of logistics were, for me, mind-boggling. How would we do this if the council chooses 12 precincts? It would have been a real challenge for us to do that.
So this form of government that we've had has been around for either side 10 years, and we're already here changing the precincts and, I mean, changing a little bit how the people vote. We'll get to that in a second. But how long should this new precinct map last? Is this something we're going to have to look at in another 5, 10 years and say, well, time to re-precinct again? Because I know we have the McElwain School apartments that are going to be coming online in, I believe, a year or so, a little longer than that.
Yes, absolutely. And that was one of my calculations too, because this is so much work that I don't want to, I'm not going to be here in 10 years. First of all, we don't have a choice of doing it in 5 years. We'll do it in 10 years. It's always at the 10-year mark that we do the new census. So I know I'm not going to be here when it happens the next time, and I really wouldn't wish this on anyone else. So when you multiply 4,000 times 9 precincts, you get 36,000. So our population can grow to 36,000 before we're going to have to do this again. Our growth from 2010 to 2020 was a little over 2,000 people, and that was with pretty big growth. Like I said, we've had the Calvert Preserve, we've had Viva, we've had Access, we've had quite a bit of large growth. So I feel very confident that we won't have to re-precinct again in 2030 nor in 2040. It depends on what happens by 2050. I think we'll probably be fine even at 2050. So most of us who are watching this probably won't be here or won't care by the time it has to reprecinct
A
again.
little more seasoned, I think.
But we were trying to watch that too. We were watching from many, we were going from many points of view, quite a prism of how we were approaching this situation. And in my mind, my recommendation to the council, which that is my legal duty, is to make the recommendation to the council for how we should precinct. And my recommendation was for 9 precincts. I think it's the best choice.
Now, I want to talk about the voter turnout because I talked a little before this question about the fact that the voting process is going to change a little bit. People are going to have different precincts. I'm not exactly sure what precinct I'm voting in, but obviously there are some big elections coming up in 2022 and in 2024 that are going to bring out a large voter turnout. As we get closer to those dates, do you foresee the town clerk's office sending out some form of mailers just to kind of let people know when you go to the poll, you're going to be voting in precinct 4 or precinct 6? Maybe a way to kind of make it a little easier on the poll workers that may already be stressed out with the weight of the day?
Sure. Well, to tell you the truth, we already do that. People get a local census every year. It's not the federal census, it's the local census, and it's what goes into our street list. And every address in Bridgewater gets that census. They're supposed to fill it out and return it back to us. On that census, it tells you what precinct you live in. So right there, it comes out around the first of the year. Everyone will see what their new precinct is, if it's changed or if it's the same as the last one. Just letting you know, John, lots of people come to the polls without a clue what precinct they live in already, and
I'm one of those.
they've been living in it for 10 years. so it won't be a surprise. The people who already know what precinct they're living in may not be it anymore, because when you add 2 precincts, some population has been picked from this one and put into that one, and of course 8 and 9 never existed before. So a lot of those things are going to be new, but that will come out with the census by January this year. And our phone number is at 508-697-0921. And people can call and ask us what their precinct is before the election or at any time they care to know. Maybe I don't know if we can find a way to get it online. I'd like to find a way to get it online so that they could see where their precinct is. And so we'll work on that. But yes, but we're all going to be at the same location. It isn't like you're going to come to the Mitchell at the middle school and be told that, no, you need to go to the Vets Club, or you need to go out to the Orange Street Vets Club, or down to the Portuguese Club, or anything like that. Not going to do any of that. You just still go to the same place.